Ladies and gentlemen, hear me today, hear me clear. Life has a way of making us deaf to the voices that matter the most. We rush, we stumble, we argue, we fight. In the middle of all that noise, we miss the call. Yes, the call, the one that was meant to change everything about us. You didn't hear it the first time, but God is calling again. I know some of you are sitting here thinking, I missed my chance. I blew it. I was too busy, too distracted, too afraid. I'm here to tell you something that will shake your soul. God's call is not limited by your failure, your hesitation, or your weakness. The voice that spoke to you before is speaking again. And this time it's louder. This time it's more urgent. This time it's for your breakthrough. You see, God doesn't call the perfect. He calls the willing. He calls those who are ready to leave their old ways behind and step into destiny. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary, that call you ignored the first time. That delay, that's not a punishment, that's preparation. Maybe you didn't hear it because your heart was closed. Maybe your mind was too busy. Maybe your past made you believe you weren't worthy. But today, right now, the call is being repeated, the opportunity is renewed. Your purpose is waiting, and it won't wait forever. Don't walk past this moment. Don't put your ear to the ground expecting someone else to tell you it's your turn. Don't wait until life forces you to pay attention. God is calling again. And if you answer, if you step forward, if you embrace the call this time, your life will never be the same. Your assignment is bigger than your fear. Your destiny is greater than your doubt. The door is open, the light is shining, the voice is calling, and it's calling your name. Will you answer this time, or will you wait for a third call? The first call came and you missed it. The second call is here. Don't let history repeat itself. Stand up, lift your head, and say, I am ready. I am listening. I am obeying. Because the God who calls is faithful, and the God who calls again is calling for your miracle, your breakthrough, your victory. There is a voice that never grows weary. There is a whisper that will not be silenced. There is a call that does not fade with time, circumstance, or failure. That calls the call of God. It is persistent. It is relentless. It does not depend on your mood, your mistakes, or your hesitation. You may have missed it the first time. You may have ignored it. You may have doubted it, questioned it, or even walked away from it. But the truth is this. God's call is persistent, and it will find you again. You see, many of us live our lives as if God's call was a one-time invitation. We think that if we don't respond immediately, if we hesitate, if we stumble, then the opportunity is lost forever. But that is not how God works. God does not measure his love or his plans by our perfect timing. God does not check his watch to see if we are ready, does not give up on the very people he created. His call is persistent because his vision for our lives is greater than our failures, greater than our distractions, and greater than our fears. Think about the story of Moses. How many times did he try to run away from God's call? He said, who am I? He said, I am not eloquent. I am not able. He hesitated. He doubted. He even argued. But God's call was persistent, kept pursuing Moses. God kept giving him signs. God kept sending reminders. And eventually Moses answered. And because he did, the world witnessed a miracle. Persistent call of God did not stop because of fear or hesitation. It waited, it pursued, it remained faithful. This is the same for you today. You may have heard the call of God once and ignored it. You may have been distracted by life, by responsibilities, by the noise around you. You may have thought that the call was meant for someone else, or that it was too late, or that you had failed too many times to ever answer. God's call does not quit. It is persistent. It is enduring. It is patient. It will find you in the middle of your fear, in the middle of your chaos, in the middle of your mistakes. The Bible tells us that God is patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. That means the call of God waits for you. It waits even when you do not. It waits even when you run in the opposite direction. It waits even when you say, not now, maybe later, I am not ready. That waiting is not a threat. It is a demonstration of his persistence. God is not in a hurry like we are. He does not move based on our calendars, our schedules, or our deadlines. He moves with eternal patience, knowing that when we finally respond, the impact of that obedience will echo for generations. Persistence is not just about God calling, it is also about God preparing. When we think we missed our chance, what we often fail to realize is that God's timing is perfect. He calls us again not because he was impatient before, because he was preparing us during the delay. That delay is not denial, it is preparation. Every setback, every failure, every closed door, every disappointment was a part of the process, shaping us to answer the call with faith, courage, and strength. That is why God's call is persistent. It never gives up on us because he knows what we are capable of when we are ready. You see, persistent calling is an act of love. It is God saying, I am not finished with you yet. Your story is not over. Your destiny is not done. I have something greater for you, and I will keep speaking until you see it, until you believe it, until you step into it. That is how God works. He does not let his children drift endlessly in life. He calls again and again and again. And make no mistake, answering the call is never easy. That is why God does not stop calling until we are ready. Sometimes we resist because we are comfortable in mediocrity. Sometimes we resist because we fear the unknown. Sometimes we resist because it will cost us something. Our time, our pride, our comfort. But God's persistent call is louder than our excuses. It pierces through doubt, fear, and distraction. It does not scream or shout recklessly. It is patient, it is gentle, it is irresistible, and it will not rest until you respond. If God called you once, it was for a reason. If he calls again, it is because the reason still stands. Your purpose, your assignment, your destiny has not been canceled. The call you did not hear the first time is not gone. It has been renewed. The opportunity that passed is not lost. It is waiting for your obedience. The moment you finally answer, you will discover that the persistent call of God was always working, always preparing, always guiding you toward your breakthrough. Persistent calling is proof of God's faithfulness. If God calls you once and calls you again, that is not coincidence. That is not luck. That is a deliberate act of love and purpose. That is God saying, I will not abandon you. I will not let you fail without purpose. I will not let your life pass by without meaning. The call is persistent because God's love is persistent. The call is relentless because God's vision for you is unstoppable. So what do you do when you hear it this time? When God calls again, don't hesitate. Don't argue. Don't make excuses. Don't wait for a perfect moment because there is no perfect moment. There is only obedience. Obedience transforms everything. When you answer the call, when you step into what God has for you, you will see doors open that you never imagined. You will see breakthroughs that you thought were impossible. You will see the hand of God move in ways you could not orchestrate on your own. That is the power of a persistent call. A call that will not give up until it is fulfilled. God's call is persistent because he sees your potential even when you cannot see it. He sees your destiny even when you are blind to it. He sees the victory even when you are surrounded by defeat. And he will keep calling over and over until you rise up and say, here I am. I will go. I will obey. So today, hear me. Hear the call that you may have ignored before. Listen closely. Listen with your heart. God is persistent. God is patient. God is faithful. God's call will not stop, will not grow silent, and will not give up on you. You may have missed it the first time, but now the second, third, fourth, and fifth call is coming. Will you answer this time? Will you rise up and embrace your destiny? Persistent call of God is here. Don't let it pass you by. Listen to me carefully today, because some of you need to hear this more than anything else. Failure is not final. What you call failure today is not the end of your story. It is not the last chapter. It is not the closing door. It is certainly not the declaration that your life has reached its limit. No, failure is temporary. Failure is instructive. Failure is a signpost pointing you to the next level, if only you are willing to look, to learn, and to rise. Far too many people live their lives as if one failure defines them forever. They make a mistake, they stumble, they fall. Suddenly they see themselves as broken, incapable, or undeserving. But that is a lie. That is the world speaking, not God. God does not measure your worth by your failures. God does not write your obituary the day you fall. God does not close the door of destiny because you hit a wall. Failure is not final, and you must begin to believe that with every fiber of your being. Every great person who ever walked this earth, every innovator, every leader, every trailblazer, they failed. They failed again and again. Some failed publicly, some failed privately, some failed in ways that shook their confidence and humiliated them. But they did not stop. They did not quit. They did not allow a single failure to dictate the rest of their lives. They got up. They tried again. They adjusted their strategy. They learned from the pain. They embraced the lessons, and in doing so, they turned failure into fuel for greatness. Failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is the enemy. Regret is the enemy. And giving up is the enemy. If you can see failure as a stepping stone instead of a stopping point, you will begin to understand the persistence of God and the power He has placed within you. Each failure contains a lesson. Each setback contains an opportunity. Each contains a seed for growth. You are not defined by the moments when you fall. You are defined by what you do after you fall. How many times has God allowed you to experience disappointment so that you could develop resilience? How many times have doors closed only to redirect you to a better path? How many times has life knocked you down so that you could learn to rise higher than you ever thought possible? The truth is, failure is temporary because God's plan is permanent. The temporary pain of today is overshadowed by the eternal purpose of tomorrow. Your failures are not the final word. They are part of the story that builds strength, character, and faith. Some of you are sitting here burdened by past mistakes. You feel as if you have ruined your chance. You feel as if the opportunities you missed will never come again. But I am here to tell you every failure, every setback, every mistake can be redeemed. Every failure can be turned into a lesson. Every loss can be transformed into a platform for success. Every closed door can be the very thing that leads you to your breakthrough. Failure is not final. It is temporary, instructive, and transformative. Do not allow one failed attempt to dictate the rest of your life. One failed relationship does not mean love is impossible. One failed business does not mean your purpose is gone. One failed opportunity does not mean the future is lost. Failure is a pause, not a period. Failure is a comma in your story, not the exclamation point. And if you are willing to persevere, if you are willing to learn, if you are willing to rise again, you will see that God can turn even the deepest, most humiliating failures into the greatest victories of your life. Failure is not final because God specializes in second chances. If you have ever doubted this, look at the Bible. Look at Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times. Felt publicly, he failed grievously. But his story did not end in failure. His story ended in redemption. His failure became the foundation for leadership, courage, and impact. God does not let your past dictate your future. He can take your mistakes and transform them into your ministry. He can take your failure and turn it into fame for His glory. He can take what looks like defeat and convert it into victory. Failure is never final when God is involved. Failure is not final because growth requires it. You cannot grow without stumbling. You cannot learn without falling. You cannot develop strength without facing adversity. The lessons you gain from failure are often the lessons that success alone could never teach. Resilience, patience, humility, wisdom. These qualities are forged in the fire of failure. They are tempered in the storms of disappointment. And they are revealed in the courage to try again, even when the odds are against you. Your past does not determine your destiny. Your failures do not define your worth. Your mistakes do not cancel your calling. You are bigger than your setbacks. You are stronger than your fears. You are capable of rising higher than you ever dreamed possible. Failure is not final, it is temporary. It is instructive. It is the bridge to your breakthrough. Now, some of you may be asking, but what if I fail again? If the next attempt doesn't work, I am here to tell you, if you never try again, you will never succeed. Success is built on persistence. Success is built on faith. Success is built on the willingness to keep moving forward even when the road is rough, even when the path seems impossible. Every great achievement in history was built on countless failures. Every great life that inspires the world was shaped by setbacks. And the only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones refuse to accept failure as the final answer. So today, I am calling you to rise. I am calling you to shake off the chains of regret. I am calling you to embrace the lessons of failure. I am calling you to step forward in faith, knowing that what looks like the end is only the beginning. Your failure is not final. Your story is not over. Your destiny is waiting. And when you rise, when you try again, when you refuse to give up, you will discover that God has been preparing a victory for you that is greater than you ever imagined. Failure is not final because it is temporary. Failure is not final because it teaches. Failure is not final because God redeems. Failure is not final because it strengthens. Failure is not final because your destiny is eternal. So take this message with you today and repeat it every time life knocks you down. Failure is not final. Failure is not permanent. Failure is not your definition. Failure is not the last word. Stand up, rise up, and step forward in faith. Your breakthrough is coming, your victory is near, and your failure will become the fuel for your success. Listen to me today, because some of you need this message more than air. Faith over fear is not just a phrase. It is a lifestyle, a decision, and a declaration. It is the spiritual weapon that separates those who live small, fearful lives from those who walk boldly into the destiny God has prepared for them. Every time fear shows up in your life, faith has the ability to cancel it, to silence it, to transform it into a stepping stone for victory. But here is the key: you have to choose it. Faith is not passive. Faith is not optional. Faith is not a suggestion. It is the command to rise above fear, to move beyond doubt, to step into the calling God has placed in your life. Fear is everywhere. Fear whispers in our ears, "You can't do this." Fear shouts in our minds, "You will fail." Fear paralyzes us with worry, anxiety, and doubt. Fear tells us to settle for less, to remain in mediocrity, and to stay in comfort zones that are destroying us quietly. Fear is powerful, but it is not stronger than faith. Fear is loud, but faith is louder. Fear may knock at your door. Faith is the armor that allows you to open that door anyway and walk into what God has prepared for you. The truth is, everyone experiences fear. Difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of faith. Faith does not deny fear. It acknowledges it and says, "You may exist, but you will not control me. You may threaten, but I will rise anyway. You may whisper lies. God's truth is louder." Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is the refusal to let fear dictate your actions. Faith is taking the first step when you cannot see the entire staircase. Faith is moving forward even when your heart is trembling, even when the outcome is uncertain, even when every reason tells you to turn back. Fear is often a signal, not a stop sign. Fear is a warning that something significant is ahead. When fear shows up, it often means that God is about to stretch you, challenge you, take you to the next level. Faith over fear does not mean that the path is easy. It does not mean there will be no obstacles. Does not mean you will not be tested. But it does mean that God is greater than your fear. His presence is stronger than your anxiety. Power is higher than your doubts. And his plan is bigger than your panic. Look at the story of David when he faced Goliath. A giant, a warrior, a man with a terrifying reputation stood before him. And yet David did not allow fear to rule his heart. He did not focus on the size of the enemy, the weapon in the enemy's hand, or the crowd of doubters around him. No, he focused on the God who had already equipped him, who had already prepared him, who had already promised him victory. That is faith over fear. That is believing God's power is bigger than the problem, larger than the challenge, and stronger than the opposition. Faith over fear is not passive waiting. It is active trusting. It is not saying, "I hope things will work out." It is saying, "I know God will work it out. I know he is faithful. I know he is able. I know he is with me, even when I cannot see the way forward." Faith speaks when fear is screaming. Faith steps when fear wants to freeze. Faith acts when fear wants to paralyze. Every time you choose faith over fear, you grow stronger, bolder, and more aligned with God's purpose. Some of you are struggling today because fear has controlled your life for too long. Fear has dictated your choices, your words, and your relationships. Fear has convinced you that you are not enough, not capable, not worthy. But I am here to tell you that fear is a liar. Fear is temporary. Fear is powerless against God. And faith is your weapon. Faith will give you courage when the night seems darkest. Faith will give you clarity when the path is confusing. Faith will give you victory when the battle looks impossible. Faith over fear also requires surrender. You cannot claim faith while holding tightly to your anxiety. You cannot walk in trust while clinging to worry. Faith begins the moment you release control, the moment you say, Lord, I may not understand this. I may not know the outcome. I may not see the road ahead, but I trust you. I believe you. I will move because you are greater than my fear. That is the moment when fear loses its grip and faith takes the lead. Faith over fear is transformative. It changes your mindset, your actions, and your destiny. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns challenges into testimonies. It turns trials into triumphs. When you choose faith, doors open that were previously closed. When you choose faith, favor flows in ways that logic cannot explain. When you choose faith, the impossible becomes possible because God works with the bold, the brave, and the obedient. Faith over fear is not just for extraordinary situations. It is for the ordinary moments too. Faith over fear is choosing hope over worry, persistence over giving up, and trust over panic. It is what allows you to face a difficult conversation, a financial struggle, a broken relationship, a health challenge with confidence, knowing that God is greater than the storm. Faith over fear is the lifeline that keeps you moving forward when everything around you seems to be collapsing. Do not let fear steal your calling. Do not let fear prevent you from stepping into your purpose. Do not let fear whisper, it's too late, because it is never too late when faith is your guide. Do not let fear convince you that you are not enough, because God has already declared that you are more than enough. Fear is temporary. Faith is eternal. Fear is the voice of doubt. Faith is the voice of God. And when you choose faith over fear, you align yourself with the power that created the universe, that parted the seas, that raised the dead, that promised to never leave nor forsake you. When fear rises, and it will, choose faith. When doubt comes knocking, and it will, choose faith. When anxiety threatens to paralyze, and it will, choose faith. Speak over your fears. I will not be moved. I will not be controlled. Will not be defeated. I am walking by faith, not by sight. I am stepping into my destiny. I am trusting God, and I will overcome. Faith over fear is your declaration, your weapon, and your victory. Fear is loud, but faith is louder. Fear is strong. God is stronger. Fear may knock, but faith opens the door. Fear may threaten, but faith triumphs. Fear may whisper lies, but faith declares truth. And when you choose faith over fear, you step into a life filled with courage, purpose, and unstoppable victory. So today, choose faith. Speak it. Live it. Believe it. Let it rise in your heart louder than your fear, because fear is temporary. Faith is eternal. Fear is limiting. Faith is liberating. Fear paralyzes. Faith empowers, fear deceives, faith reveals truth. And when you choose faith over fear, you will discover that God has already prepared your victory, your breakthrough, and your testimony. Faith over fear is not an option. It is a command. It is a lifestyle, the key to unlocking the fullness of God's plan for your life. So rise, my friend, step forward, speak courage, act boldly, and let faith, not fear, lead you into the destiny that is waiting for you. Listen closely, because this is a message some of you have been waiting to hear all your lives. Timing is divine. Everything in life happens according to God's perfect schedule, not ours. Every season, every setback, every opportunity, every breakthrough arrives exactly when it is supposed to. Not too early, not too late, at the precise moment that aligns with God's plan for your life. You may have been anxious, frustrated, or impatient. You may have wondered why doors have remained closed or why your dreams seem delayed. But let me tell you something, God's timing is not arbitrary. It is intentional and it is perfect. Too often we get ahead of God. We try to force things to happen on our timetable. We push, we rush, we struggle, we stress. We say, I can't wait any longer. I need this now. And in that moment, we forget there is a divine rhythm at work, perfect orchestration that we cannot fully understand. God sees the beginning, the middle, and the end. He sees the hidden forces, the unseen preparation, the circumstances that must align for your victory to manifest. Timing is divine, and it is always worth waiting for. He was sold by his own brothers, betrayed, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. How many of us would have given up? How many of us would have thought that God had forgotten us? But Joseph waited. He trusted. He remained faithful. He did not try to force his destiny ahead of God's timing. And when the moment arrived, when God's timing was perfect, Joseph rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving nations and fulfilling a purpose that could only be realized in that exact moment. That is divine timing in action. Divine timing often requires patience, and patience is not passive. Waiting does not mean doing nothing. Waiting means preparing, growing, and trusting in the unseen work of God. Every season of delay, every moment of waiting is designed to refine you, strengthen you, and position you for the perfect moment. The farmer does not plant seeds and demand an instant harvest. He waters, he nurtures, he waits. Only when the time is right does the harvest come. So too, with your life, God is cultivating the circumstances, equipping you with skills, preparing the people who will play a part in your destiny. Timing is divine, and you cannot rush it without risking the fullness of your blessing. Some of you are struggling with unanswered prayers. Some of you are frustrated by opportunities that seem delayed. Some of you are waiting for breakthroughs that haven't yet arrived. I want to tell you today, don't despair. Don't grow impatient. Take matters into your own hands and try to force what is not yet ready. God's timing is divine. Every delay has a purpose. Every season of waiting has a lesson. Every moment that feels like it is too long is part of the preparation for something greater than you can imagine. Consider the story of Esther. She did not become queen the moment she entered the palace. She waited. She listened. She prayed. And when the right moment came, when the timing was perfect, she was able to save her people. Timing is divine because God knows exactly when your influence, your voice, and your actions will have the maximum impact. The moment may feel long, the waiting may feel painful. God's timing ensures that when the doors open, the results are overwhelming. Divine timing also requires trust. You may not see the full picture. You may not understand why certain doors are closed or why certain blessings are delayed, but faith is the bridge between uncertainty and fulfillment. Faith allows you to believe that God is working even when you cannot see it. Faith allows you to continue preparing, continuing praying, continuing walking in integrity, knowing that the right moment will come. Faith allows you to celebrate what is coming, not just what is happening right now. Timing is divine, and trusting it will save you from disappointment, anxiety, and premature decisions. Divine timing is often ahead of the world's schedule. The world measures by hours, days, months, and years. God measures by seasons, purposes, and eternal outcomes. May seem late to you may be perfectly on time to God. What may feel like a delay may be the very mechanism that ensures your breakthrough is complete, sustainable, and aligned with your destiny. Every not yet is part of the divine plan, a puzzle piece that will fit perfectly when the time comes. Think about the Apostle Paul. He endured years of persecution, imprisonment, and hardship. He faced rejection, doubt, and opposition. Yet he continued his mission faithfully. His letters, his ministry, and his influence reached generations not because he rushed, but because he waited for God's timing. Every hardship, every delay, every obstacle was part of the preparation for the full revelation of his calling. Timing is divine, and when you trust it, your journey will be marked by impact, not regret. While you wait, do not remain idle. Divine timing requires preparation. Cultivate your gifts, strengthen your character, deepen your faith, and refine your vision. Every moment of preparation aligns you with the moment of fulfillment. Every skill you develop, every lesson you learn, every relationship you nurture, all of these are part of God's timing. You cannot skip the preparation and expect to thrive in the moment of opportunity. Timing is divine, but it requires readiness. Some of you may be tempted to settle, to compromise, or to take shortcuts because you are tired of waiting. Hear me today. Do not settle for less than what God has prepared for you. Do not rush ahead of divine timing and risk missing the fullness of your blessing. Wait, prepare, and trust. The wait is not wasted. The delay is not denial. The pause is not punishment. It is divine orchestration, aligning every detail for your ultimate success. So today, I want you to shift your perspective. See every delay as divine, every obstacle as a setup, every closed door as redirection. Celebrate the seasons of waiting. Trust the process. Believe that the right moment is coming. And when it arrives, you will walk into it with confidence, knowing that nothing in your past, present, or future could have prepared you better. Timing is divine, and your breakthrough will come in the perfect moment, fully orchestrated by God. Divine timing is not accidental. It is not random. It is intentional, precise, powerful. Every seed you have sown, every prayer you have prayed, every effort you have made, every trial you have endured, all of it is working together to align perfectly with the moment God has chosen. Your victory, your breakthrough, and your fulfillment will arrive at the appointed time. Timing is divine, and it is always perfect. Trust the timing of God. Don't force it. Don't manipulate it. Don't despair. Wait, prepare, and remain faithful. God's timing is divine, and His plan will never fail. The moment you have been waiting for will come. The opportunity you have been praying for will arrive. The blessing you have been seeking will manifest. Timing is divine, and it is always worth the wait. Listen carefully today, because this is a message that could change the trajectory of your life. Purpose is waiting. Yes, the assignment that God has for you, the destiny that you were created for, the plan that was written before you were born. It is waiting. It is waiting for your courage, your faith, your obedience, and your willingness to step forward. Purpose is not lost. Purpose is not gone. Purpose is not delayed because of your mistakes, your failures, or your fear. Purpose is waiting. It will not be claimed by anyone but those who are ready to rise. Many of us live lives of distraction, confusion, and hesitation. We look around and see other people walking boldly into their calling, achieving their dreams, and fulfilling their potential, and we ask, where is my purpose? Why has it not arrived for me? Let me tell you something that will set your soul on fire. Purpose does not vanish because it is taking time. Purpose is not lost because you have stumbled. Purpose is waiting, but it waits for readiness. It waits for preparation. It waits for faith. The truth is, purpose is patient. Purpose does not rush. It does not panic. It does not grow weary of your mistakes or your delays. Purpose has been waiting for this very moment for you to align your heart, your mind, and your actions with the plan that God has prepared. Purpose is like a treasure hidden beneath the ground. You may have wandered. You may have stumbled. You may have been distracted. But the treasure is still there, waiting for you to dig, to persevere, to refuse to give up. Consider the story of Moses. He spent 40 years in the wilderness tending sheep, away from the palace, away from the mission that God had called him to. Many would have thought that his purpose was lost. Many would have assumed he missed the calling. But purpose was waiting. God was preparing him, shaping his character, teaching him lessons, equipping him for the moment he would step into the role he was created to fulfill. Purpose is waiting, not absent. Purpose is waiting, not denied. Purpose is waiting, fully ready for the person who is willing to respond. Some of you may be struggling because you have been ready for years. It feels like purpose has not arrived. You have prayed, you have labored, you have sacrificed, and yet the breakthrough has not come. Hear me clearly. The timing of purpose is divine. You may be early, you may be in preparation, but your moment is coming. Purpose is not missed. Purpose is not lost. Purpose is waiting for your courage to meet it, your faith to claim it, and your obedience to step into it. Purpose is waiting, but it also demands action. You cannot sit idly and wait for life to hand you your destiny. You must seek it, prepare for it, and move toward it with boldness. Preparation and patience go hand in hand. Every skill you develop, every lesson you learn, every experience you endure, these are not distractions. These are preparation. They are the waiting room of purpose. They are the training ground where you become ready for the responsibility, the assignment, the blessing that God has for you. Purpose is waiting, but you must be ready to step into it. Faith plays a crucial role in claiming your purpose. Purpose is waiting, but if you doubt, if you procrastinate, if you question your worth, your purpose will continue to wait. Faith is the key that unlocks the door. Faith says, I may not see it now, I may not feel it now, but I believe it is coming. I trust it is real. I will act on it when the moment arrives. Faith aligns you with the power of God and positions you to move boldly into your calling when the moment of opportunity comes. Purpose is also waiting to be discovered, and discovery often comes through persistence. Many people live their whole lives unaware of their true calling because they give up too soon. They stop trying, stop seeking, stop believing. Your purpose is persistent. It waits, it calls, it nudges, it whispers, it refuses to be silenced until you pay attention. Purpose will continue to wait. It will not wait forever. One day, the opportunity will arise, and if you are not ready, you will miss it. That is why persistence, faith, readiness are so crucial. Think about Esther. She may not have known the purpose that awaited her, but when the moment arrived, she was ready to act. She stepped in her position of influence, risking everything for the sake of her people, and her obedience changed the course of history. Purpose is waiting for those who are willing to step forward, willing to take risks, and willing to trust in God's plan. The question is, are you willing to rise when the waiting ends? Purpose is waiting because it is perfect. Purpose is not rushed. It does not compromise. It does not settle for less than the fullness of what God intended. If it were forced, if it arrived too early, it would not have the impact, the blessing, the fulfillment it was designed to bring. That is why patience, preparation, and perseverance are so essential. Purpose is waiting for the exact right moment, for the exact right preparation, for the exact right alignment of circumstances. And when it arrives, it will exceed anything you could imagine. Some of you are discouraged because you have failed, you have stumbled, or you have been delayed. I want to tell you today, those failures are part of the preparation. Those delays are part of the training. Those challenges are part of the process. Purpose is waiting, but it waits for a person who is refined, strengthened, and prepared. Purpose is waiting, and the wait is worth it. The delay is not denial. Pause is not punishment. Purpose is divine, intentional, and perfectly timed. Purpose is waiting, and when you finally step into it, everything aligns. The people you need, the doors you need, the opportunities you need, they come together at the right moment. Timing, preparation, faith, and courage converge. When you claim your purpose, the impact is far greater than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. That is the power of purpose. It waits. When it arrives, it transforms lives, changes communities, and leaves a legacy. Your purpose is not lost. Your purpose is not delayed forever. Your purpose is not absent because you have failed, hesitated, or wandered. Your purpose is waiting. It is waiting for your courage, your faith, your obedience, and your readiness. It is waiting for the moment when you will rise, step forward, and claim the destiny God has designed for you. Purpose is waiting, and it will not be claimed by anyone but you. Stand up, prepare yourself, strengthen your faith, cultivate your gifts, build your character. And when the time comes, do not hesitate. Step boldly, step confidently, step faithfully, because your purpose is waiting, and when you step into it, your life, your world, and your destiny will never be the same. Listen to me today, because this message is the key to every success, every victory, every life-changing moment you have been praying for. Preparation precedes breakthrough. Yes, before the